minute after 11 o'clock on what is turning out to be a fairly nice Thursday in Trinidad and Tobago. Seems as if though we're going to get a little bit of water this afternoon. That's our snow in Trinidad and Tobago. It's soluble. Means to say that you're not going to be having to wear those very tall, hot boots on your feet. And when you cross Frederick Street, you're not going to be, shivering, running into a place with hot air to keep you warm and make your nose not feel chilly. And that's the lifestyle we have in the Caribbean, and we are proud of having that lifestyle here. To all of you foreigners outside there that are freezing your butts off up there, ha ha! Tell Santa we said hello, 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 as Guess says. But with that said, Stranded by the Pool is on Thursday the 8th of February 2018 at the luxurious Sally Bay Nature Resort and Spa, and tickets are available at all auto booths and a number of places throughout the nation. For more information, 7529911 or 4727411. Stranded by the Pool. To miss this event is not an option. M1047 is the official station of Stranded by the Pool. I'm joined this morning, as usual, on Thursday with my guest this morning, Phillip Alexander. Phillip, how are you going there?
So far, so good. Good morning to all of your 104.7 family. Good morning, listeners. Good morning to those following on the live stream. We are live on the Facebook profile, my Facebook profile. How was your Christmas?
Well, my Christmas was quiet. I mean, I think Christmas in Trinidad and Tobago was quiet overall.
Everybody's answer is quiet. Everybody's answer is that they stayed home, they stayed away from the bacchanal. It seems like
I don't know if we have a bacchanal in the sense of bacchanal.
I think that's why we had no bacchanal. Everybody stayed home.
Yeah, everybody stayed home. I mean, one of those what should I call it, strange years of Christmas where I don't even think that I think families did come together this year, but maybe not as normal.
This is the build up to Old Year's Night. Americans call it New Year's Eve.
No, but we don't have that again.
No, it was a big thing.
Used to be.
I don't know why it's not anymore, but I'm just comparing that because now people would normally be planning what they do in Old Year's Night, where they go in, who
they
have
nowhere to go for it.
But again, that comes down to people not even motivated to try to do something. I mean, when I was a lot younger, I was a promoter. I would have an Old Year's Night party. We had some big ones.
Yeah.
You had your things too, and a lot of people. I mean, that's a part for the cause.
Yeah.
You pass through that. I don't hear of anything anymore. I mean, they have the traditional here, there, in the hotels and stuff, but...
No, but I don't even think this year any hotel is having that sort of, what should I call it? Splurge. But maybe the Hilton might have something, I don't even know.
But look at the Christmas itself, because up to Christmas Eve, I was in a couple of the malls Christmas Eve. You get in the drive in the mall normal, parking normal, no big set of crowd.
I didn't have the necessity to go to the mall. I only went to the drugstore.
You did your shopping on Amazon?
I did my shopping.
You paid your 7% online tax?
I did my shopping at Kappa.
Super, man. No, but again, it's reflective of everybody. Yesterday was the first day back out at the gym. That's 90% of my social life is in the gym. That's where I see people talk.
When you look at the country and you traverse the length and breadth of it, we did do a little drive around Shabona, so I think the furthest point we reached this year. Normally you will pass by homes and you'll see them electrified. Lots of lights, place looking nice.
Yeah, people didn't celebrate.
I think it was a depressing Christmas.
This was a depressed Christmas.
And it begs the question as to whether or not the spirit of Christmas is gone.
I won't say the spirit of Christmas is gone. I would say that the spirit of Christmas was under a dark cloud this year. The country, the country feels...
The Jedi returns.
The people feel...
Luke Skywalker.
Force Awakens. No, but the people you could see, and talking to people in the gym yesterday, where you're dead, what you did, everybody say, family and friends. And that's okay. Let me tell you something, yeah? For the past 20-something years, we've been feeding the homeless Christmas Day. This Christmas Day, and normally, we would reach downtown Independence Square and we would start Riverside Plaza and then we would go to Columbus Square and then we'd go up and down all the streets in Port of Spain looking for people to give the extra food to. This Christmas Day, we were finished distributing within 45 minutes. There were so many homeless people that needed food this year that within 45 minutes on Independence Square, all the food gone. And that's indicative of the economy and the state of the country. Because when your homeless population is expanding, and I mean, I don't want to put a damper on the conversation, but that is something we have to pay attention to. You have a lot of mentally ill people walking around this country with nowhere really to go. We have this place in St. Anne's that nobody speaks about unless they refer to it in a derogatory manner, the madhouse. Mental health is not given the attention that it should be given in Trinidad, in a nation, in a world where the number one most prescribed drugs on planet Earth are drugs like Prozac and Xanax that are stabilizers. And for people with, we have a lot of people with issues like bipolar and stuff. And I just want to say that we as a nation, all of the things that are wrong with this country, one of them that has to be given a lot of attention to is what passes for healthcare, and especially mental health care.
Well, I don't dispute that we have a imbalance with regards to how we are dealing with it. Many ministers of health in this country have spoken fairly eloquently about what they intend to do with regards to this issue of mentally challenged.
But there's a lot of lip service.
That's lip service.
A lot of lip service.
I mean, I was asking even up to recently, somebody was speaking to me about something, disability. And I was saying to the gentleman that called, because he said he's an advocate of wanting to help the disabled. I was saying to him, do we have a disability register? You see...
And they've been speaking about that for almost a decade. Yeah, and in case of an emergency, in case of a hurricane or earthquake or tsunami, how do you go and find them?
Yeah. You can't find them because although we have disability grants that are doled out to people, and they're collecting the checks, whether they are legitimized or not,
whether they're living at the mailing address, you have no idea.
We have no idea.
So in case of a natural disaster,
those are the first people who are going to perish. Because they're not going to be able to find their way.
We don't understand the footprint of the size of a hurricane or an earthquake because we look at them in terms of islands. The weather patterns that affected Houston and Texas this year, 2017, would have wiped Trinidad completely off the map. You know? The footprint of the size of the disasters are bigger than the landmass of Trinidad and Tobago. And we don't pay attention to things like that because we're not the most proactive people.
Well, you look at the typhoons and things like that on the far eastern end. That has also devastated. I mean, thousands of people got killed this time.
Absolutely. But we keep dodging all of these bullets. And I think that at some point, all of those chickens are going to come home to roost. At some point, we're going to have a disaster. Everybody gets one. I mean, hurricanes.
What time hasn't yet been?
A hurricane hit New York City. That is so statistically almost impossible.
Yeah.
And a hurricane hit New York City. It's like waking up tomorrow. A hurricane hit in New York City is like Trinidad getting a snowstorm.
Yeah.
It's that impossible almost.
Yeah.
And they got hit by a hurricane. All we need is a hurricane, a depression or weather pattern to start low enough in Africa. And it will hit Trinidad.
Yeah, the trajectory will get hit once it started at a particular peak. But I wanted to kind of wind up this year in trying to bring some, I would say, direction more than anything else as to expectations for 2018.
From the politicians or from the people?
No, as a general reference point. I mean, we have a situation where Trinidad and Tobago, for all intent and purpose, has really not seen any sort of, I would say, upliftment for the last 2 years. 2.5
years.
And
September 2015,
yes,
the ball dropped. We've been talking about a recession. 2 quarters of continuous negative growth is a recession. We have had 8. We've had 8 quarters of continuous negative growth. And the government has done nothing to reverse that trend. And when I say the government has done nothing, neither you nor I know of the national push to turn the economy around. Neither you nor I are aware of any economic diversification plans. They've gathered together and held hands in the grandstand and prayed for the rise of oil prices. But other than that prayer, I don't know of anything else. We have a Minister of Agriculture sitting on some of the best pepper, some of the best honey, and the best cocoa in the world. But we're not doing anything about it. We're not doing anything at all about it.
Are you
Honey, pepper, and cocoa can reverse.
Are you indicating that one of the things you'd like to see happen in 2018 is a more involved governance or a more involved position with regards to our agricultural resources?
Robert, we've been talking about diversifying the economy since the 80s. We've been talking about diversifying away from the vicissitudes of an energy-dependent economy.
Okay.
So,
I agree.
So if your economy is dependent on one singular source of income that has massive highs and terrible lows, you're going to have booms and busts.
Yeah, but you see, you have to go back and look at what has happened, because it is also a part of our inherent lackadaisical attitude.
Our culture.
All right, we're coming there. That the Minister of Agriculture recently was making the pronouncement, and I think he is right in the pronouncement. If we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, do not make a conscious decision about changing our attitude about feeding ourselves, meaning don't complain to me, but you still want to support the
Robert, I want to tell you
food.
something. When Clarence Rambrat said that, he knew he was lying. He had to stand one foot on the next and cross both his fingers because he knew he was lying. You cannot be subsidizing labor with URP and CPEP and not repurpose them to agriculture. You cannot not be distributing the available fertile agricultural land to farmers. There are 17,000 people whose names are on lists waiting to access land that they would rent, buy, borrow just to grow food. We are not doing it. We are blaming ourselves for not doing it, but we're not doing it. And if he doesn't take the lead in this, and we, the Progressive Empowerment Party, we said simply, identify the consumption patterns of Trinidad and Tobago, break it down per ton, and break the island down by what we could grow, and target those targets. And you could give a man who wants to get into farming all that he needs to grow Pump City. Look all the Pump City seeds, look all the chemicals, look all the fertilizer, we give you water, we'll give you security, nobody come in and steal your Pump City. We expect that you will get 2 harvests 12 months from now, twice a year, you will get 2 harvests. Based on a 1 acre, we predict that you could get 16 to 20 tons, and we will buy all 16 to 20 tons at this agreed price. You don't have to pay for the land. We will buy at this agreed price and distribute through retail and wholesale markets throughout the country. The Ministry of Agriculture, and that's just one idea, centralize the planning of the farming and give the farmers support. Repurpose URP and CPEP. Continue to subsidize it for the next 5 years so that they get their make work, but you use that make work to help us get the food self-sufficiency because you're paying that bill anyway. And you would get to a point where the farmers could stand up and survive.
I think that the suggestion of the repurposing of the money you're going to spend anyhow for a make work program that is really and has not over the last 20 years showed any kind of
CPEP stands
tangible
for continuously endeavoring to paint everything possible. They have a lot of white stones and white trees in the country.
Yeah, but on a serious note, Phillip, we have to, I am saying to you that I concur, I agree, I believe that we must take a very firm hand
but dig deeper in CPEP.
On the feeding.
But dig deeper in CPEP.
I don't even want to waste time.
Who owns the CPEP gangs? Makes the big money, you know. The CPEP workers.
But that is not the issue. I mean,
Robert,
the issue is not about that right now.
If you put $1 billion to help people, and of that $1 billion, 70% goes to people who do not need help.
The issue is not that, Phillip. The issue starts with you making the right statement, and I want to support that statement that we have to repurpose the money that we are spending anyhow to show a result.
Look at Kale. I want to use Kale as an example. I have a friend, and she gave me all of the information. I shared it with Facebook, and a lot of people, it went viral, and a lot of people got on board. The exact same quality kale that sells in Price Mart for $45, she sells the exact same amount of kale leaves. Kale is like a type of lettuce. She sells the exact same amount for $15 and she makes a good profit. Price Smart sells it for $45 in a plastic bag.
Who is the problem?
Wait.
No.
And she showed me, have the whole story. She showed me her 1 acre of land.
Who is the problem?
But the government.
No. How the government problem when you go buy Price Smart and you buy it for $45?
Where could I get it for $59 now? Know about her. But if you and me go and buy her out, where the other people going? And when you drive through Trinidad, most of our farmland dutifully growing razor grass. Because people can't get farmland because there are people who import food in this country that bribe governments not to grow food.
Phillip,
and I'm telling you that.
Focus.
Yeah, but you saying focus on the solutions. We have the solutions.
No.
If
we have the solutions, Phillip, then we will have results.
If the government doesn't apply these solutions.
If the solutions is just talk, we cannot solve the problem.
No, but the whole world,
the solutions with you is talk.
The whole world tells you if the police officers are, instead of sitting down in a police station waiting for them to report crime, proactively out in the communities, present in the communities, giving support on the ground, beat cops, cruiser cops, all around the area, you will have a reduction in crime. The whole world shows that New York City's murder rate at the close of 2018 this year is 300. That is 4 per 100,000. We are closing at 500 and at 50 per 100,000. We are in a massive crisis in this country and nobody talking about it.
So Mashabri, see, because you're jumping from one.
No, I'm just showing you.
I want to close the issue of agriculture first because in order for this wind up to make any sense.
We've given them the solution. We've given them the solution.
No, you have not given any solution. You have made a statement. The same woman that you are talking about that is engaged in the growing of cane.
Call everybody whose name is on the list for farmland outside this radio station next week Thursday. Tell all of them come. Listen, they pay their transportation. See how much people show up here waiting to get farmland. The media won't cover it. You cannot grow food if you don't have farmers and land to grow food on.
You see, you continue along the line of jumping too much.
That's not it, Robert. It's just that while we're talking, they're giving away farmland to build strip malls. The next one billing by El Socorro on farmland. And next one billing by El Socorro on farmland. Coming all the way, Shaguana's going to meet town just now in strip malls on farmland.
No, what you're saying there is not right because the property for which you refer where the gas station is billing, is that what you're talking about? The farmland you're talking about?
All that is farmland.
No, that was always industrial land.
How is that industrial land?
Because it was always set up there as industrial land.
They may be trying to repurpose it as industrial land, but that
the
is
point is you cannot
fertile farmland.
No, but just before it, a man builds a monstrosity of a building to sell appliances and goods for
all of that is farmland.
That's not the point. Why are you blaming the man now? Because you have asked to grind with him.
Not at all. Not only that mall. I just talk about all the malls that build in from Shaguanas. Look at South Park. Look at C3. All of these cinemas and cineplexes and malls are being built all over this country. Look at what's going on with Price Plaza. Price Plaza expanding. What is that land? That is fertile farmland that should be feeding this nation and saving foreign exchange.
And therefore, that's another.
But we have more cineplex per capita than any country in the world.
That is another issue to deal with if we don't fine-tune the agriculture. So the issue becomes identifying what is considered farmland
and vest it.
And that is correct.
Vest it in a marketing company responsible for
wherever it has to go.
No. You have to know this. If you vest it in a marketing company and you say, okay, we have 220,000 acres of land. I just joined your reference. That's 22,000 acres of land. Let's say we have 22,000 acres of farmland available. We can now deal with 22,000 farms. Does that mean 22,000 farmers? Or does that mean 10,000 farmers at 2 acres? You start with 1 acre this year. If you're supposed to get between 16 to 20 tons of pomsite, and you get between 16 to 20 tons of pomsite twice, 2 years in a row, then I'm giving you a second acre.
All of those are what I call the foundational parts of the institutional
It's planning.
Yes.
It's planning.
And I don't have a problem with that. But the first
But you have to have what Steve Jobs used to call a closed loop. You have to have the farmer, the farmland, the labor, the product, the market, the harvest, and how you distribute it.
That is not.
That is your closed loop. We have it complete and planned.
Yeah, that is not my issue. My issue is you cannot have a closed loop if we don't even have the government identify. And we have come back to the point. 4 years
So
ago...
you just say what I say, we agree.
No. 4 years...
Government leads this.
4 years ago, I asked Botiwari, where is the zoned land for agriculture? He said to me, they're putting it together. The country today
Robert,
lacks...
I could give you a real estate agent number right now. You could call her and she will tell you about farmland that has been repurposed to housing and that has been flipped 2 and 3 times since. This is currently farmland. What is happening while we talking? What is happening is profiteering and gouging, and food land is being put under housing and malls. So you tell me just now I have an axe to grind. My axe to grind is that we are deliberately destroying this nation. And then when the ashes are left...
making the statement to me in the context of a brand new facility being built in a brand new area, I accept. But if you are speaking to me about already developed area where it had already taken the action, I don't agree. That is for us to sit down now and say, this is what it is. Fix it.
At the end of the day, brother, the plans exist. There are ways and means to fix every single thing in this country.
I don't want to fix every single thing.
You want to deal with the cost of living?
I want to focus on the agricultural side.
Deal with the cost of living. What is important to the vast majority of people in this country where the cost of living is concerned is housing, food, education, healthcare.
And okay, so
deal with those 4 things.
Okay.
Housing, food, education, healthcare. And let me tell you something. If we get all of those 4 things close to 100%, you wouldn't need a crime plan.
And I agree with you.
You wouldn't need a crime plan.
But you see again, where does it start? We started off on the discussion of food, which I think is...
But we have a plan. We have a plan for food.
Okay.
What I'm saying, if you want
to... plan for food, your plan for food is closed loop. That doesn't say nothing. The plan for food must first start on identification of what is farmland. And must take a role of saying, these lands are destined for...
Do you know what eminent domain is?
Educate me.
Eminent domain. The government of the day has a responsibility to identify what is for transport, what is for housing, what is for commercial enterprise, what is for land.
So much
it doesn't take that long in a country that you could fly around in an hour in a helicopter.
My question to you is, after 25 years, has it been done?
55.
Forget the other 30.
Why?
Because I said that land.
So okay, so people know. You know what? People treat the NAR term like before Christ and after Christ. Before NAR and after NAR. Before the attempted coup and after the attempted coup. It's like Trinidad stopped and started over, but it didn't. What we suffered in 86 to 91 was the result, actually from 80 to 91, was the net result of Eric Williams and the PNM and their mismanagement and corruption and their failure to prepare. Look at the Netherlands.
But that has not changed.
But look at the Netherlands Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Look at the size, and they come into oil.
You know the problem with your analysis.
I have 1 hour.
Yeah.
I have 1 hour on this radio show to tell people that nothing happens in isolation. That if you had a government tomorrow that came into power that said this, we will fix 4 things first. We will make sure even minimum wage earners can own a home. We will make that law. We will make sure that everybody can afford food. We will drive the price of food down below world price standards. Because you see, the importers is telling this bull crap that it is cheaper to import than to grow. And we prove them wrong time and time again. There are people who tell you can't build a house for $100,000. I give them a video showing them 2 under construction. So now everybody want to put a name down on a list. The problem in the country is not a lack of plans, programs, policies, ideas. It's not a lack of initiatives or ways and means to get it done. The problem in this country is you've had 2 governments in the past 30 years that have been playing smart with stupidness, pretending to govern and run the country while their 1% financiers and friends gouge, steal, and make off with the people's money.
The unfortunate thing with the statement you made there is that by you making that statement does not change the relative position of the difficulties of the people of the country.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
Because we are giving them an option.
Okay.
We are giving them an alternative.
Farmers, all the farmers, next week Thursday, show up in front of
Come
you.
here.
Come here. All of you looking for land.
We are going to call a housing meeting. I want to show you this. You deal with farms, I will deal with housing. We are going to call every single person in this country whose name is on our HDC list, who are squatting, who are looking for regularization, who are looking for any kind of help at all in housing. I am going to call those people together because those people need representation, not the nonsense that passed as NHA and HDC and all the foolishness that these two parties have done to people for the last, and billions of dollars mismanaged, misdirected, and stolen, masquerading as housing.
26 minutes after 11 o'clock, that time check comes through the kind courtesy of Value Optical. We pay a few bills, and when we come back, we join this very, very heated discussion.
We're on a break.
Yeah.
I tell any live audience. These same four issues will keep coming up all the time. You see, people want to tell you crime is the #1 problem in Trinidad and Tobago. Crime is the #1 symptom in Trinidad and Tobago. The #1 problem in Trinidad and Tobago is mismanagement, lack of governance. Because if we treat with housing, food, security, housing, food, education, and healthcare, security and crime will take care of themselves. If you haven't shared the videos yet, please share it. We seem to have a good internet connection today. Share it and let people know that we're here and we're live. Let them join the conversation. Robert, we taking any calls? We're not taking any calls today. Maybe in the new year we will get on to that. But you could send your messages here and I'll add it to the conversation. We have a responsibility to not lose sight of the important things. And every time you all hear me speak, you hear me speak about these same things. If these things get addressed, the country will fix. How many ads you have?
Enough.
Good! Station getting too popular. How old 104 is now? 10 years?
13.
13 years. Wow. That time fly, eh? They say it's like raising a child. The day is long, but the years fly.
2017 was the time for happy people. In 2018, we continue the party as fun seekers unite at the popular Your All-Inclusive Carnival event. Same time, same place. On Sunday, 21st January from 5 p.m., we unite at the University Inn and Conference Center, St. Augustine.
For those of you now joining us, we are on 104.7. We're taking an advertising break. We're coming right back into the conversation. We're dealing with the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. As a way, Robert started off by wrapping up 2017. But these issues going on in this country for a very long time. And it's going to continue until you have a government, until you vote a government into office that are focused on these four things. Ask your current government or the party that you support why they've never addressed housing for all, affordable food, healthcare that delivers, and education that works. The four critical things to everybody. If those things get addressed, you think we will have a crime problem in this country? You think we will have a drug addiction or a homelessness problem in this country? Think of it.
Energy Drink, Stag, Time Call, Random Step Rentals, and NLCB.
Live at Napa, Saturday, February 17th. She's our most celebrated female music icon.
He has given me the magic, the power, the energy to entertain.
Calypso, queen of the world.
To bring joy to the heart of the people.
Calypso This soca icon on that night will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. Super Blue. International superstar Dr. David Wada. The Master Relator, former groovy soca mama, Olatunji. Barbados Comedy Kings, Rum and Cove. Also, everybody eats free, sumptuous local delights. Tickets now on sale at selected outlets, so go get yours now. Call 622-0834 for details. Calypso and Comedy Cool Down. Saturday, February 17th, Napa, or to Spain.
And we are back 29 minutes before 12 o'clock. As we rejoin the conversation, that time check comes through the kind courtesy of Prasad Supermarket. Yes, they're still offering all their specials, so go on down to Prasad Supermarket and cash in on those specials. Cash in on those specials. Phillip, the reality is, if the country has to move forward, whether under the PDP or under any other political party, there must be a reference point, a starting point to achieve objectively results.
A goal. You must have a goal.
Well, I say a reference point.
No, but okay, and when
the goals are the goals will come from the reference point.
Even if you don't do it,
you have to have a starting point.
Exactly. And even if you don't do it the way Harvard wants you to do it, you still do it because you do businesses and you know where you're trying to go and you know what you're starting from and you know what you're trying to do along the way to get from A to B. And that's the process. But we've never had a government enunciate, this is where we want to go, this is what we have, and this is how we plan to get there. We've never had that. We've had governments throw stuff against the wall, call whatever they hit the target, and applaud and award themselves. But the reality of the situation, if we were to look at all of the things that confound the development of this country, it lies at the feet of one thing: failure of government to govern.
And that is not debatable. I think that's a fact.
Do you agree with this statement that the well-being of the citizenry is the primary purpose of government?
I think I agree. But
start there.
But yes.
Start right there.
Starting there is just a statement.
The tool that you have to do that is the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, but the society at large, the people, the citizenry really don't care.
You raised children. You raised functional, conscious children. Other people may not have done that. And I'm saying that to you to tell you this, that the society, because a lot of people want to pass blame on people, and I want to say that our people have been misled. They've been lied to. They've been led astray. Do not assume everybody has. You do not assume that everybody have your intelligence or your emotional toolkit or your life experiences.
But life experiences are the toolkit. Common sense is the toolkit.
Robert, Voltaire said common sense is not so common.
Well, that is Voltaire, and I do agree with him because I think common sense is common. Don't tell me that if you're going to lie down in the bed with a woman and you know you don't want to get pregnant, that you're not going to...
Abraham Lincoln said leadership is not taking people where they want to go, it's where they need to be. Henry Ford underscored that. He said, if he had asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And I keep using that to make the point that the people of Trinidad and Tobago know where they want to go, you know. They know they want to be in a first world nation. They know they want to be well off and living well. Trinidadians want to like themselves. They like to lime, party, play a little all fours, be on the corner drinking and liming. That is all away. And you can't knock it. What I'm saying to you is, you could have it both ways. What you've had are very zealous, unethical, and corrupt people hiding behind two political parties, using them to steal the people's money.
See, again, for the help of the future, for making things just a little bit more easy, move away from that olden political jargon.
But you have to. No, Robert, we had money that would make Dubai blush.
Forget all of that.
We had money that would make Abu Dhabi stop talking.
Had.
Okay.
H-A-D. Had.
But if we had people who were having this conversation, then we would still have the money.
Had. We still in the had.
Do you know that there are architects in this country that have cautioned the government that the General Hospital cannot survive an earthquake?
I understand that. It is something they have spoken about for about 5 years.
There are people inside the General Hospital right now at risk if there is a serious earthquake. The country, not only do we not...
Well, no. Correct yourself. It is not in the General Hospital. It is in a particular building in the General Hospital.
My friend.
Okay? There are buildings in the General Hospital that an earthquake will not shake down because it was built before you were born.
No problem at all.
But the reality is that it was built well.
But they've run gas lines through those buildings. And the problem is not just the earthquake, you know. The problem is what follows earthquakes, sparks and explosions and stuff like that. But forget all of that.
I agree.
Forget all of that. But there is nothing you can't scratch and sniff in this country and don't find a problem. There is no organization of this state.
If you continue along this path, my humble humble opinion is that you will be just like a guy shuffling on two pieces of slate. You will stay in the same place.
I agree to disagree. Okay. I want to tell you something. My whole role, and every time I get an opportunity to speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, social media, radio, TV, I do two things. I inform, educate, and empower, and I embolden.
Okay.
People are standing up now. They're saying if that jackass could talk like that, I could talk like that too. And I could use the word jackass because it's in the Bible. Mary wrote a Bethlehem on a jackass.
Those issues are not important to me. What is important to me is a map to get to the point of the promised land.
If you give a blind man to drive your maxi with a map, you getting anywhere?
But the point is, if you have a person that's telling him turn right, turn left, that is educated and sensible, you can get where exactly.
The blind man carried and the navigator can't talk. Robert, that's what's going on in the country.
We bring one
your maxi, the whole maxi pack with people just trying to get us where we're trying to go.
The point is, you're missing the point.
I know your analogy.
It's a chain reaction.
I know your analogy.
It requires everyone.
Robert, China built a landfill bigger than Trinidad, just to deal with the repurposing of trash.
At the end, you see all of those things you're talking about.
One city handles 65,000 police. We have one commissioner of police in Trinidad who can handle 5,000.
I understand that comment that you have made on many occasions, but let us take now into consideration some of the things that you may have opaquely forgotten.
Overlooked?
Opaquely.
Deliberately?
Yes.
Casting aspersions again, Mr.
What does the New York police have that Trinidad and Tobago don't have?
A lot of things.
But tell me.
Dashboard cams, body cams. They have plans, policies, ideas. They have a goal.
Okay.
They have numbers. They have statistical data. They have what you like to call empirical data. They know what last year's murder rate was in each county by street. So they know.
We're not making sense.
But brother, we know this.
Yes, but what are we doing about it?
But we're saying to you, somebody, you know what you asked? You asked Trinidad and Tobago 5 years ago. I remember asking one morning on your radio show, because I called in, and you asked whose job it is to bell the cat. Whose job it is to put a bell on that cat so every time it comes through the door, you know. That's what I've been doing since. I want you to understand that's my job. I bell every single cat in this country. I want you to know that the police commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago is failing, not because he is a fool. He is failing because the system that he works within is set up to fail. And if he doesn't fail right along with it, they will fire him.
All right, so hold on for a minute. How important is the automatic fingerprint information system in getting to the point of reducing the murder rate from 500 to 100 to go in sync with
Hey, shot spotter. Whole Christmas they bouncing shots in the air. If you had a shot spotter system in the 4 roads, you know how much of them guns you take off the street?
At the end of it all.
So yes, you're right. We need it. We need all of it.
Okay, but
when the police knocked down that girl on the priority bus route, if they had a dashboard cam and body cams, you would have known if they was drinking and driving, and you would have known if they were speeding.
Yes, you would have known.
Because the damage to that vehicle, I am very, very concerned. Because it right off the car. You hit a woman, a 20-year-old woman, and mash up a SUV.
Well, I hear you.
And we have no systems. We have no outdoor cams, no dashboard cams, no body cams, so people could do what they...
we are coming back again. You see, I want the murder rate to come down to zero.
But the things you want to ask about, you need plans, systems, accountability.
No.
You need that.
You need a roadmap. You need,
Okay, but there are two sides to that. They have the social aspect to murder and crime, and there is the physical aspect, the mechanical aspect of committing a murder and committing a crime. So you want to be able to prevent crime up front, which is social management, and you want to be able to interdict and prosecute after a crime takes place. Right. So that people who contemplate, who fall through the cracks socially, that contemplate committing a crime, they must live in a country where they know that the justice is so swift and it's so sure that it would be a foolish enterprise. That's what you want.
But that can only occur in a modern society.
Shut down the whole court system and start it over. Fire every judge, every law clerk. Go through every line of law. Robert, this is the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of do what the hell you like land. The Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago should have been fired last year.
I agree with you.
He is still there.
Yeah, I agree with
He
you.
is thumbing his nose at all the people of Trinidad and Tobago because we've not yet been able to write a law. And the monkeys in the parliament, the 41 of them who could convene parliament today and write a law today. The name of that law, how to fire the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
That's their work.
They can do it.
That's their job.
That we agree upon.
Oh.
But it still does not, I don't agree with you with the issues of the comparative analysis.
Robert, we talk undo and redo. I want to ask you a question. You hear people talk all the time about rogue police officers and they're pulling their hair out. We are part of a commonwealth. Do you know that you can go to Ireland and bring investigative officers from Ireland or Scotland Yard or Canada or Australia, people who are beyond arm's length from Trinidad corrupt police? You could bring them, give them work permits because they're from the Commonwealth and precept them and call them internal affairs and let them loose in the police service. Bring 1,000 of them.
I agree.
Spend 50 million, spend $100 million. I want to tell you why that money is important. Because if out of the 5,000 police officers, you arrest, charge and prosecute 3,000, you come down to 2,000 people that you could trust.
I agree.
All of a sudden,
we don't
the criminals no longer connected to law enforcement via state-issued badges.
And I agree with you.
Robert,
so we come into the point.
so we know, you and I know, if you want us to sit down to put it down chapter and verse line by line, we could.
I don't want you to put
I am just showing you.
I don't want you to put it chapter and verse, but I want you
They
to
say if
understand.
you want to go to China, take one step at a time, just make sure you're facing China.
Yeah.
I am pointing you in the direction of China.
Yeah, but Philip, you can't point me in the direction of China and at the same time not understand clearly that there must be a roadmap also.
Absolutely, but we can't do that in 1 hour.
I don't want to do it in an hour.
You can imagine it. Look at this. Look at this, Trinidad and Tobago. This plastic bottle. I'm holding a plastic Blue Waters bottle in my hand. What is preventing the government from applying a 25-cent tax on each bottle? Blue Waters and every other water company, every other soft drink company manufactures, and every other company imports. 25 cents tax on each of these bottles. And you tell the homeless, the indigent, and the unemployable, you tell them, I will give you that 25 cents on every bottle you bring in for me. All of a sudden, you will see homeless people end up driving van and truck because they will be picking this nation clean. And do you know that this plastic, if Blue Waters don't want it back, do you know that this can be ground up and repurposed as pellets, used in the top surface of the road to make it more pliable for our tropical weather so it wouldn't crack up like this, and it will act as noise cancellation?
At the end of it all, the suggestion, the idea, the philosophical point you make with the plastic.
So look at that. We cancel the noise, we make the road stronger, we put the homeless to work, we stop flooding. Oh my God, that is win, 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 win. We want again.
Yes, but at the same time,
Keep Christopher Mugabe Sabga Rowley announce that today and take credit for it. What is keeping you? Know what's keeping you? Because
interest groups.
Hadid
Yes.
don't want and my uncle who manufactures water one, none of them. Coca-Cola, Cannings, Solo, Charles, none of them want that 25 cents tax applied because now they have to stand the bounce of cleaning up after themselves. We have an irresponsible corporate Trinidad and Tobago who do not understand that they have a responsibility to the country. That's why there is a saying, no one raindrop ever considers itself as having caused the flood. We all feel somebody else to blame.
43 minutes after 11 o'clock, that time check comes to the kind courtesy of Hearty Foods. We take a quick break, and when we come back, we join the discussion.
We're on the second break. I guess after this is straight through. This show flies because between Robert and I, there is never a minute of silence. The conversation is always hard-hitting and to the point. Because at the end of the day, and this is the conversation, you who are watching, you who are listening, at the end of the day, this is the conversation you're supposed to be having. Not about Rowley mother count, not about foolishness. We're supposed to be looking at all of the problems that are making life hard in Trinidad and Tobago and fixing those. If we plug every hole and fix every leak, the country will be perfect. This country is a paradise on earth. Victoria's Secret Style Carnival Fashion Show. My God, I could only imagine what that means.
Tickets are limited, so get them early in cachets nationwide. Selected regular outlets at ticketfederation.com. For more info, call the hotline 628-9158. Ladies, it's your special night out, food inclusive edition. Friday, January 26th. Don't miss it.
At KFC, we believe that families who ever use
Eh,
to spend time with
The 1%ers advertising it, you know.
two regular chicken, two regular salads, one biscuit and a large
That means your audience huge.
KFC. It's fragrant.
They know.
It's now 15 minutes before 12 o'clock. That time check comes through the kind courtesy of Value Optical. And stranded by the pool people, don't forget, Benjai, M1, aka Menace, and Scarface, they're all going to be there. And Bungie Garland, of course. He's going to be there on Thursday, February the 8th at the luxurious Salibi Nature Resort. Also look out for Marsville from Barbados, Yankee Boy, Aston Isaac, Mr. Famous, Ami from Grenada, Third Base, Kabuki and Dice, Kerry the drummer, and General Grant. Remember, gates open at 6 p.m. and you'll fet until 6 a.m. the next day. Early bird tickets $300, 2 persons on 1 ticket $500, and Ultra VIP $600. 752-9911 and 472-7411. Those are the numbers. So Philip, I agree with you.
As you're giving out numbers, I would like to give Trinidad and Tobago my telephone number. My number is 682-2110. Do not use it wildly. Do not use it to call me for foolishness. Use it to WhatsApp me and text me. Let me know what's going on with you and what you're thinking and what you need, what you suggested. Come and get involved. And I didn't mean to cut you, but as I was giving out numbers. Because, Robert, a lot of the problem that we have, and you keep asking me, and I keep thinking, every time I leave the show, because you keep asking me where I think the problem starts. I want to tell you something. To me, the biggest problem is the people who either A, waiting for somebody else to fix it, or B, have this foolish notion that it can fix.
And again, I think that borders on part of the problem, because in this equation of the solution for the Trinidad and Tobago that the country's people wants, we cannot leave the people out.
Somebody told me this morning, you can't call people, and I used to do this, and I'm starting to adopt this from today, that don't call them lazy, call them unmotivated.
Okay.
Our job is to motivate them, and I don't know what else to do and say again, to tell people, don't wait for the wolf to reach your door. Don't wait for your stuff to catch on fire. Come out now, join the masses. Join us. They have strength in numbers. We are the power. We are the people that make the parliament and the politicians powerful. We are the power. It is time for us to stand together again and to really and deliberately, as Robert say, write a map of where we want to go and how we want to get there.
And again, that is what I believe is our job.
Absolutely.
Our job is to write this map. And I mean, I think we have to break this down into a foolproof kind of, what should I call it, referencing. Food is important. I think the most important thing for a society that wants to get to the end of the promised land, you got to get there healthy. So,
Home food. Home food.
No, food first. I don't agree with you with home.
All right.
Because the homes are there.
I want to tell you something. If you deal with housing, there are so many problems in society that stops
Yeah,
because
but
people no longer
the
come from
way-
somewhere.
The way you are behaving is as if though we have a population that is willing to get out there and contribute to the development of the country. The people, as you are recognizing, and you should by now, they wanted to come on a platter.
You see, you want to solve food, right? And you
No,
tell
no,
me,
I
let's
don't
solve
wanna
it.
solve
Let's save the foreign exchange because the biggest reason,
Forget about the foreign exchange.
Robert, the biggest reason for us to become food self-sufficient, the biggest reason.
It's to say foreign exchange.
No. The biggest reason for us to become food self-sufficient is in a very short time. Because of the amount of people in the world, food independence is going to be the only independence that matters. You are not going to be able, just now, all it takes is one drought. And you can't get wheat, and you can't get corn. And 90% of Massey and True Value is wheat-based, corn-based products. Check it out.
all of what you're saying there is immaterial to the roadmap that we're drawing. I really don't care about Massey and True Value and all of these people.
At the end of the day, you want to build the ark because the flood is coming, and I'm telling you,
No,
unlike
I
Noah,
want
Noah, who had a heads up, we are actually in the flood already, and we're trying to build the ark while the water falling.
Right, but Phillip,
you can't just write a roadmap. You have to win.
No,
you have to win an election.
The point is,
if you don't win an election,
you cannot win an election without a plan.
Robert, I think what the people need.
You cannot win an election with
the
BS.
people need to see
You
that there are
cannot win
people.
an election by
No.
getting up on a platform
They know we have a plan.
and telling people.
They know we have a plan, and listen. Our advisory council could break it down to you. We have an actual document called Reboot the Republic, and I'll give you a copy. And I'll show you how there's already a plan in place. But what is more important, people need to see strong, courageous, visionary leadership. We've never had a government in this country that has captured the hearts and minds of our people. What we've had is vote against, vote against. Don't like Kamala, vote against. Don't like Manning, vote against. Don't like Pandey, vote against. Don't like Rowley, vote against. That is not where we need to be. We need to start voting for something. We need to vote ourselves a better country.
Yeah, but you see, you're talking about vote yourself a better country. People not voting for a country. The people really don't care about the country. The people care about whom or who they put.
Naked self-interest.
Whatever you call it.
But it's naked self-interest.
Okay, so
but you need to be able to couch naked self-interest in a nationalism. Nationalism. You see that flag? You see that red, white, and black flag? People have disrespected that red, white, and black flag because we've never felt like that red, white, and black flag protects us. But the day Trinidadians understand the power of that flag to unite us, one people under one flag, you will see all of a sudden the outpouring of patriotism and civic mindedness that you want, you will see it.
What you are suggesting or hoping for, I hope you get it. Okay? But
I have an inherent faith in the goodness of people.
And I have an inherent understanding that the people don't care here. There's a big difference between your inherent faith and my inherent reality. You see,
all of life, everything that is around you, in this room, in this street, in this town, in this city, in this country, all of it started as a dream. People had to get together and pull together.
Martin now?
People had to get together and pull together to make it happen.
You hope for that in
I am telling you.
That you will never see. You will never see. Let me explain
that
to you
and a cock with teeth.
That and a cock with teeth you wouldn't see.
China, just forgetting the sayings. You see these sayings, you have to write these things down, you know. I used to see it when I was small. That and a cock with teeth you will never see.
Here is one of the things that I just want to put on the table for you to reference or look back on. You know, you keep speaking about the issues as if though we have a docile society. When you crack the whip, they're just running in a corner. I am saying to you that when we think back, there's always been this sort of parallel what should I call it, cross-referencing of two particular countries, Trinidad and Tobago in the 1950s
and Singapore. Yeah. The Singapore model.
The Singapore situation came with independence around the same time like Trinidad and Tobago. The kind of society that is there is singular. Singular.
No, but they could divide that.
No.
They've divided the Hutus and the Tutsis.
Yeah,
you could tell the two of them apart.
Gosh, Phillip, come on, man. I don't
Stay
care about the Hutus.
Stay on your point.
Yeah,
stay on your point. Stay on your point. Make your point.
Down that road.
Make your point.
You have a situation where in the Singapore model, you had an individual.
You are advocating for the cessation of rights and liberties.
No.
Because you want a strong man government. And I am saying to you...
I am saying that the only way for Trinidad and Tobago to get to the point where it could now be...
I don't believe that.
Well, okay.
I want to tell you this.
So
if you and I do not believe in the innate goodness of people, we shouldn't be doing this.
No, well,
if you and I do not believe that Trinidadians are intelligent and sensible enough to get out of their own way, to come in out of the rain.
Well, I mean...
I had to tell somebody this morning, she trying to have a conversation with me. I say, ma'am, with all due respect, your house is on fire. There is no time to think. Grab a bucket.
Yes, and what she said to you?
I'll agree to disagree. Have a good day.
Correct.
Because you see, but I know for the entirety of her day, she is going to remember, and I know because they come back. Well, they come back to me.
Listen, I take you a Dalpuri roti without any filling. Because that's all I can afford, just the skin.
You know, you're like Indian. And Indian people just cuss me when I say...
I'm not an Indian, I'm a Trinbagonian.
When people of in East Indian heritage, when people tell me when you say skin, they don't want to beat you. They have no such thing as roti skin. I tell them, but in Trinidad, we know what we mean when we say a roti skin.
Well, I'm not worried with them. I will always call it a roti skin.
Every time I write roti skin on Facebook, if you see them a couple, they just light up themselves. And when you go and check, they're shoveling snow in Canada. Listen.
We back to the point that you could hold that goodness to your heart about a Trinbagonian and all of this. And I don't say no. I say it's hard to come by. The Trinbagonians that exist in the society that we live in today are internalized and care about self. They don't even care about the country.
There are some people in this country that I agree with you on that. There are some people, if you were to walk on water, they will cuss you for not being able to swim.
The bottom line of the whole thing is that they are in the minority.
I hope so.
Okay? And for us to move the Trinidad and Tobago forward, that we want to move, you cannot move Trinidad and Tobago to the next level of success without some strong leadership character.
Let me add to that, because this has been a 55-year hostage situation.
And we're not
this is a 55-year hostage situation.
No, you can say
and
that.
the people and we've had generations grow up in a country where to them, you see, when people go to countries that work, they just write back and tell you, do you know that in this country the bus stops at the bus stop every 15 minutes? Every 15 minutes. Do you know, I watched Fitzgerald Hines, who was the Minister of Public Utilities at the time, sit with Hema Ramkissoon on CNC3 and say, Hema, I was so impressed when I was in England. Every time I turned on the tap, there was water. And I say, this is the Minister of Public Utilities. They should fire this man so fast, he should leave his shadow behind.
Well, anyhow, we have to say our goodbyes, because I still have an ad set to play. So.
Goodbye to 2017. 2017 for me has been a very challenging year. We've built a political party on January 18, 2017. We launched January 18, 2018. We will be 1 year old, and we're trying to have a public family day and invite everybody to come and be a part of the conversation. On the 6th of January on 19 Stanmore Avenue at 12 noon, we start back our first public meeting. Everybody is invited. Come and be a part of the PEP vision. Come and hear the conversation. Come and add your own voice and be part of the change. Robert, for all the time that you've had us and allowed us on your radio station this year, I want to tell you thank you very much. You've allowed us to reach a lot more people than we would have just by social media alone. You are single-handedly challenging a media blackout. And I thank you very much. On behalf of the entire Progressive Empowerment Party, I thank you for that. The Progressive Empowerment Party's email address is peptrinbago@gmail.com. Our website is peptt.com. We have an app, PEP, APP, 2 words, available on all the app stores, free to download. My number is 682-2110. My Facebook profile, Phillip Edward Alexander. Add me, join me, follow me. Thanks a lot, Robert.
Philip, on behalf of ourselves here, we want to wish you and the PEP all the best. We hope that you do not get a nightmare. But you're heading for a nightmare.
I think you're wrong. I'm going to build this whole thing on the innate goodness of our children.
I wish you all the luck in the world. When you get up one morning,
don't worry about that.
Just you'll have to remember.
You say your goodbyes.
All right, people. Well, that's it for me. I mean, I'm happy to have been here for the last 12 months. We look forward to 2018 with bated breath. We have quite a lot of new things coming, including our youth forum that we're going to be putting a lot of emphasis on, because, as I said to Philip, we need a roadmap. The roadmap has to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
I choose to start with the young people.
Absolutely. Now, we agree on that 100%.
Because I think the young people have to be directed.
But we must make sure also, Robert, and agree on this, that none of our citizens must be left behind.
Nobody must be left behind. But,
not one.
You know, at the start of everything, you have to start somewhere. So
stay safe tonight.
Happy New Year to all of you outside there. And coming up next is the Lunchbox. Look out for, of course, Nigel Snipes.